This week on Star Wars Rebels, the crew of the Ghost helped their Rebel cell set up a base on the planet Atollon. That's right, I was completely wrong last week when I guessed that planet would be Dantooine, but I do hope that we see our Rebels set up a base there at some point. However, Atollon is a pretty interesting looking planet ecologically. Anyway, Rex and an A-Wing pilot named Dicer are captured by spider-like creatures that kind of resemble the Kinrath from KOTOR. So the crew works together to save Rex, and apparently nobody cares to even look for Dicer. The A-Wing pilots of Season 2 are seriously just red shirts. So the main plot for this episode was largely filler, but there was a ton of foreshadowing for next week's episode and the season finale, Twilight of the Apprentice. An early scene has Kanan and Ezra dueling with training sabers, which I thought was cool. I wonder if all lightsabers have the ability to go into a non-lethal mode. Kanan warns Ezra not to turn his back on an enemy, to which Ezra replies, "Since when are you my enemy?" He's still very gung-ho about wanting to kill the Inquisitors, even after his talk with Yoda. He also has difficulty connecting with the Kinrath, or whatever they officially are. His frustration prompts Ahsoka to tell him, the more you learn about the Force, you begin to understand how little you really know. And during that final scene of the episode, the Imperial March can be heard. So, what does that mean for the future? If you consider speculation to be spoilers, you might want to stop watching now. Next week is the season finale in which Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka will travel to Malachor. We already know Ezra will meet Darth Maul there. I think Maul will convince Ezra that he can teach him to have the power to kill the Inquisitors, and Ezra will accept him as his new master. In a previous video, I guessed that Maul would die in the finale, but now I'm not so sure. Maybe Ezra and Maul are going to be the major antagonists of Season 3, and maybe Kanan will have to team up with a certain Jedi on Tatooine in order to save his former apprentice. But honestly, I have no idea where the show's going to go. Ezra could just as likely be tempted and not fall. I just love that even an episode like The Mystery of Chopper Base is making me put this much thought and consideration into where the show is headed. And before I wrap up, I just want to point out that AP5 is still around and being sassy, and it made me so happy. Okay, that's all I've got. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode below, and make sure to come back next week after Twilight of the Apprentice, when I'm sure we'll have a ton to talk about. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.